The city lights both lavish and magnificent in the dark night, as a car sped down the road accompanied by a deep voice saying, "We just got some rather bad news." A person held up a phone screen. The news read, "Korean hunters have attempted a 6-star gate raid. Today the crisis was once again averted only thanks to Japan's S-rank hunters. They failed again. After this failure, people online are saying things like, 'Useless trash, get out of the hunter world.' Looks like we're going to get mocked by other countries again. That's what you get when all you care about is money. They put on such a big show and then next year they'll just ask us to trust them again, right? Hilarious. Just secretly pay off the Americans and have them handle it, and people had started to worry about next year's National Gate Raid tournament." Hanbin adjusted his glasses and spoke puzzled. "The Korea-Japan rivalry is a thing of the past now." Junmin couldn't help but chime in, "Even so, those guys still make way more money than we do, seriously." Lee Han, sitting in the front, glanced back and asked, "Even so, shouldn't we still place some faith in the rising rookies, don't you think?" Seo Yoon, the young man in the back seat, was calmly looking at his phone. Seo Yoon, head of the rescue division. He reached out and turned off the phone. He uttered, "Let the hunters worry about that themselves." Then Seo Yoon leaned towards the driver's seat and reminded him, "For now, we should focus on the emergency call we're responding to." Team leader Lee Han glanced at him and replied in a weary voice, "I was just saying, this kid is so uptight." Junmin suddenly spoke up, "Guild hunters are all the same. Why are we always the ones who get chewed out?" Seo Yoon propped his chin on his hand and sighed internally. "The classic complaint of a public servant. This is our current situation. We are hunters who belong to the Management Bureau. Most of the awakened here are mid-rank. The Bureau is divided into 3 divisions: the Player Division, the Supervision Division, and the Rescue Division. Within that organization, I am a hunter in the Rescue Division. I rescue other hunters and civilians when incidents occur inside gates. My official position is Seo Yoon. When I'm working, I look very cold and serious. My role in the team is the same." Just then, they quickly approached a gate under assault. A commanding voice rang out, "All right, everyone, listen up." Lee Han led the team, instructing, "We're entering the gate to rescue members of the Epic Guild, so don't let your guard down for even a second." Just then, a sarcastic-sounding voice spoke up. Right on cue, it said, "Well, well, well. Everyone's working so hard, my dear rescue team." Seo Yoon looked at the man before him with unfriendly eyes. "And that bastard still has the nerve to talk to us." A high-ranking executive from the major guild Overcross Beach Jun Hwan. He couldn't help but hate the man. That old man. That despicable bastard who recklessly throws the weakest affiliated guilds into gates, letting them die just to pocket the money. He's the main culprit behind countless rescue calls. Seo Yoon acted as if he didn't hear those passive-aggressive remarks and turned away. "This is an emergency, please excuse us." Lee Han was also fed up with him. "Stop nagging, I get it already." Jun Hwan then spoke again with a seemingly friendly offer. "Our guild could lend a hand, you know, so you really don't need any support." Seo Yoon bit his lip hard, silently seething. "You caused this mess in the first place, and even now all you care about is your guild's reputation." He turned to give this man a cold look and replied, "We'll do our job ourselves, so we don't need your help." The man acted as if he didn't notice and feigned disappointment. Oh my, what a shame. He watched the rescue team until they were inside the gate. At that moment, Jun Hwan's smiling facade was gone. Inside the gate, the space changed rapidly. A wary voice echoed, "Stay with me." A man covered in injuries could still hear his teammates' encouragement. "We've already sent a rescue request, so someone will be here to save us soon." The woman on his team was still trying to use her powers to heal his wounds. "So please, whatever you do, don't die." Just then, a look of terror appeared on her face. A monster was charging towards them with its sharp claws. The girl could only shut her eyes as if resigning to her fate. In that very instant, footsteps rushed in as fast as the wind. Seo Yoon's spear in hand, exuding an incredible aura of power, had arrived just in time to help. The monster was defeated at his feet in mere seconds. He reached out his hand to the still terrified girl and asked, "Are you all right?" Seo Yoon wore a proud expression as he declared, "The rescue team has arrived on site." Lee Han turned his head and yelled, "Hey, Seo Yoon!" He quickly summarized the situation. "Monsters are flooding in like crazy from the path we took. Got it. We need to find another exit and run now." In what seemed like just a few moments, Seo Yoon's eyes shimmered as he quietly used his ability. He activated Amplify Senses, scanning everything. Activate Sonar, focusing on the sound, using it to grasp the dungeon structure. All the monsters fell within his line of sight. The layout of the entire dungeon slowly became clear. Sel Yun focused with all his might, searching for another escape route, and then he yelled out to Li Han, "Captain, I found a way out. Let's go." Li Han quietly praised him. "Good job, kid." Then the rescued girl felt herself being lifted up, and the entire team followed Sel Yun's lead. "Let's move double time." The girl being carried on his shoulder suddenly spoke up. "I know rescued people like me shouldn't be saying this. But is this route really safe?" Li Han answered without any anger, his voice filled with pride. "Our scout may only be a D-rank hunter, but he's actually one of the top talents in the country, so you really don't need to worry." A monster suddenly lunged, cutting Li Han off as he swiftly blocked the dangerous beast. It was a close call. At this point, even Li Han began to feel uneasy and asked, "Hey, are you sure this is the right way?" He looked ahead with concern. "The further we go, the more ghouls there are." The rest of the team was fighting with all their might. The rescued girl was busy treating wounds, and even Sel Yun couldn't get a break from the monsters. He glanced around, certain. This path definitely leads to the exit. It's just, they seem to know our destination too. Ghouls themselves aren't very intelligent creatures. But if there's a necromancer controlling them, it's a different story. Sel Yun immediately activated another skill, Sixth Sense activated. A prediction was already forming in his mind. And that gaze I've been feeling this whole time, there's definitely someone nearby, controlling these ghouls. It's the dungeon boss. A sinister magic circle suddenly appeared beneath the entire team. What is this?" Li Han stammered, caught off guard. Sel Yun instantly recognized it. "It's a magic trap." A split second later, he yelled a warning, "Get out of the magic circle now!" A shadowy figure, neither human nor monster, appeared as the rescue team scrambled to escape the trap as fast as possible. Li Han yelled to Sel Yun, "Sel Yun, forget about me, just run." But in the next instant, he delivered a powerful kick to Li Han's back, sending him flying forward. Sel Yun was now completely trapped inside the magic circle. His movement speed was now restricted, and he gritted his teeth in frustration. From the edge, Li Han yelled, "Wait, I'll pull you out." But Sel Yun immediately shut him down. "Don't come any closer," he warned urgently. "Captain Li Han, if you don't get everyone out of here now, we're all going to die. Get everyone out of here. Hurry up." Li Han glanced back, worried. After a few seconds, he clenched his jaw, having made his decision. Pained, Li Han turned and ran. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." Sel Yun watched his retreating back, speechless. "Hey, don't treat me like I'm already dead. I have no intention of dying here." He was now completely surrounded by monsters. Sel Yun dropped the act. "So you've just been toying with us this whole time, huh?" He shot a sharp glare at the figure behind them. Karako, the dungeon boss, a massive skeleton, had been standing there for who knows how long. It replied with a gleeful grin. "Indeed. But you hid so well, I must admit I'm a little surprised. How is it that you understand the structure of this temple as well as I do?" Karako finished. Sel Yun was somehow still in the mood to joke around. "Who knows? Let me go and maybe I'll tell you." Karako had no intention of talking any further and began the battle. "Then I'll just have to turn you into a ghoul." As it moved, the magic circle activated. "I can just pry the answer from you then." Sel Yun's hands were quickly restrained. His body felt like it was being eroded bit by a flow of energy as warning notifications sounded endlessly. "You have been cursed. Your HP is decreasing. You have been cursed. Your HP is decreasing." Sel Yun thought in agony. Was putting on a brave face just now completely useless? If I had just begged for help back then, maybe I could have made it out alive. His thoughts raced. No, that's not it. Those guild hunters who chase money instead of saving people. In a world where hunters like that hold all the power, a true hero once saved me. Brief memories flashed through his mind. I'm sorry. That hunter had cried because he couldn't save everyone. I want to become like him, just like that hunter from the Bureau. A hunter who protects the weak. For that reason, though his body was broken, Sel Yun's will grew stronger than ever. I can't die here. Skill static wave. Sixth sense activated. Synesthesia activated. An immense power erupted from his body, radiating throughout the entire dungeon. Tendrils of power began to probe every nook and cranny. Find something, anything, even the smallest opportunity will do. A moment later, his golden eyes snapped open. Sel Yun saw an ancient stone slab glowing in the darkness. He couldn't help but wonder, why is only this one slab glowing? The next second, a mechanical system voice rang out. You have read the data on a hidden class. Sel Yun froze in utter astonishment. A hidden class? Karako, not noticing anything unusual, taunted, struggling until the very last minute. How admirable. It commanded the ghouls to charge. "Let me free you." They lunged like starving beasts seeing their prey. The system's voice sounded again. "Do you wish to change to the hidden class?" Is Labyrinth Architect. The ferocious ghouls were truly formidable monsters. Seo Yoon barely had a moment to breathe. A steadfast resolve formed in his heart. It was either live or die. Seo Yoon shouted loudly, "Accept! You have accepted the class change quest." A blue pillar of light enveloped him as if protecting him. Seo Yoon stared blankly at the column of light before him. The tutorial will begin now. Small squares like pieces of space itself began to assemble. Caracal slowly stepped closer, watching the scene before him in amazement. What the hell is this? Seo Yoon was right here a second ago, and now he's vanished into that mysterious space. Where the hell did that bastard go? Seo Yoon was now safe in another place. Profile. Name Seo Yoon. Level 10. Class None. Currently undertaking the class change quest. HP 80. Strength 17. Agility 20. Mana 30. Physical defense 16. Skills. Sensory link. Sixth sense. Tinba. He quietly reread the description. So my old class nameless observer is gone, huh? Could it be? I've truly awakened again. He belatedly took in his surroundings. If that's the case, then this must be the tutorial area. Seo Yoon's gaze was then drawn back to the system window. Class change quest. Use the map function to eliminate 20 ghouls that have infiltrated the maze within 24 hours. Success reward class change to Maze Architect. Add the eliminated ghouls to the maze. Failure penalty. Class change quest will be cancelled. He muttered to himself, I get the whole quest after one read, except for one thing. What is this map function? The next second, a data stream appeared in midair, startling him. Seo Yoon stepped closer to observe it. So this is the map. It's actually pretty easy to understand. He quickly familiarized himself with it. The blue dot is my position on this virtual projection. And all these dense red dots? They must be where the ghouls are located. Seo Yoon's eyes widened slightly as he grasped the situation. I get the gist of it. So use this map to hunt the ghouls within a day, huh? He crossed his arms, assessing the challenge. It might sound unreasonable to most people, but for a scout like me, this is doable. He said aloud, all right. Seo. Yoon warmed up his shoulders, ready for a fight. Let's do this. Inside the dark and gloomy dungeon, ghouls lunged out their mouths, gaping wide and terrifying. Seo Yoon fought them relentlessly, and with each kill, a stream of notifications rang out. Level up. Ghouls remaining 4, time remaining 30 minutes. He made a quick calculation. 4 left. I have to kill them even faster. This tutorial is going smoother than I thought. I even managed to get a weapon from one of the ghouls. I'll use this for now. After that, I just use the map skill to keep thinning their numbers. If things keep going like this, the initial goal was clearly getting closer. Ghouls remaining 14, time remaining 16 hours. At that point, I was sure I could finish within the time limit, but by then I was starting to get tired. Ghouls remaining 10, time remaining 11 hours, at least that was until I saw that thing start chasing me. The only silver lining was that unlike the other ghouls, it moved by itself. I couldn't help but doubt whether this quest was even possible. But killing it would take a significant amount of time, and I wasn't even sure if I could win. Even so, if I had to take it down, I needed to kill the remaining ghouls as fast as possible to buy myself some time. After dealing with a few more of them, Seo Yoon was startled by a sound from behind him. Behind him, a ghoul was lumbering forward. Even at a time like this, Seo Yoon was still in the mood for a joke. You really scared me there. However, I still have to thank you for coming all this way. Just to die alone. Ugly feet slowly stepped forward. Seo Yoon smiled, but there was no joy in it. You insidious bastard! I didn't think the others would group up with you. Before him was a huge army of ghouls. But I never expected you'd manage to gather the whole horde like this. Since when did they start moving together? He glanced at the map in shock. I was in a rush and looked away from the map for just a second, and it led straight to this worst-case scenario. Seo Yoon's eyes became strangely calm. Okay, stay calm first. Then quickly adjust the plan. The most ghouls I can handle at once is 2. So I have to get out of here now. The problem is every escape route is blocked. I'll have to break through them. He couldn't suppress his anger. Damn it, no matter how I look at this. I'm completely cornered. He and the horde of ghouls were like pieces on a chessboard locked in battle. Seo Yoon grit his teeth, unwilling to accept it. I really thought I could pull this off. Is this the limit for a D-rank hunter? The ghouls all shot forward like arrows. No, this whole situation has been weird from the start. Is all of this really the tutorial to become a maze architect? Not one to give up easily, Seo Yoon fought back with all his strength. Well then, if this is a proper tutorial, give me something to work with. You think I crawled all the way here? And just to die alone. A rapid succession of notifications rang out. Tinba has activated. Sixth Sense has activated. Sensory Link has activated. Seo Yoon taunted, "Go on, just try and kill me." By linking Sixth Sense with the map, you have discovered block rotation. You can now use block rotation via the map. He was stunned by this new information. What? A hand appeared on the map and began giving detailed instructions, but his brain still hadn't processed the new term. Rotate. In front of him, the monsters continued to close in. The map showed that they weren't far from Seo Yoon now. Just at that moment, an invisible force stopped the ghouls in their tracks. They couldn't comprehend the situation, but Seo Yoon, on the contrary, felt a thrill. So this is how you're supposed to use it. He flashed a confident smile. At this rate, killing them will be easy. They stared blankly as the space around them seemed to warp. The ghouls were now on the defensive. The tables have turned. Now it was Seo Yoon's turn to hunt them. He didn't hold back, gifting each one a fatal blow. After receiving the new skill, he no longer had to struggle with the ghouls. They were slaughtered in agony, letting out blood-curdling cries. A ghoul tried to lunge at him. A single flick of his finger carried terrifying power. A second later, it was instantly countered before it even had time to understand what happened. The monster staggered with no strength left to resist. Seo Yoon had no intention of dragging this out. Now he leaped high into the air and delivered a fatal blow. You're the only one left. The ghoul took the full force of the blow in agony, its eyes bulging as if trying to express something. One of its hands reached out and grabbed Seo Yoon. He couldn't hide his annoyance, his voice laced with disgust. I told you, didn't I? His pupils glowed gold, radiating an icy coldness. A storm-like surge of power erupted. Seo Yoon gave it a loving kick. I've come this far. I'm not about to die. Immediately after, a notification sound chimed. As a sign of recognition, the tutorial is complete. You have successfully changed your class to Labyrinth Architect. You have received the tutorial reward. Exclusive Labyrinth Architect skill. Labyrinth King Sphere. When Labyrinth King is deployed, every ghoul you kill will be added as a labyrinth monster. Would you like to return end tutorial? Do you wish to return to a safe place? Outside the dungeon gate, the rain fell ceaselessly, making the atmosphere even more suffocating. The captain and the team members were working together to stop Lee Han from going back inside. I get it, okay? But let's just go back first and figure things out later. He was adamant, determined to rush forward. I already said it, we have to go save him right now. Hanbin did his best to block his path, shouting. The gate disappeared on its own right from the start. So where exactly are you planning to go to find Senior Seo Yoon? Just then a leisurely figure slowly approached. What's up? Seo Yoon, ice cream in hand, casually walked up to them. Why are you so worked up again? What's going on? The team members' expressions were all identical. Lee Han's trembling voice spoke up. You! Hanbin looked like he'd seen a ghost. Senior. Yoon held up the bag in his hand and said cheerfully, Come on, let's grab some ice cream and chill out. The city was bustling and crowded with people passing by and create sphere. The sphere. A skill that can trap a target inside a labyrinth. I'll probably be using this one the most when I'm outside the labyrinth. S-rank sphere. You can enter and exit the labyrinth through this sphere, and you can forcibly trap an enemy inside. However, if the enemy escapes the labyrinth by defeating the labyrinth boss, they will become even stronger. So be careful when using it. This means I can't just carelessly throw any enemy in there. Seo Yoon was quietly studying something. Since this sphere is invisible to others, I can easily trap them in the labyrinth. But if I want to survive against the strong enemies I'll have to face. From now on, Beginner's Labyrinth. Durability, 143 out of 150. Labyrinth, Boss Minnow. Remaining monsters, 20 ghouls. If the durability drops below 60% or all the monsters are wiped out, the labyrinth will automatically disappear. I need to stuff the labyrinth with more and stronger monsters. And the only way to fill the labyrinth with monsters is to kill enemies inside it. Then activate Labyrinth King. So in the end, I myself have to get stronger. A voice interrupted his thoughts. What are you sitting here all by yourself looking so serious about? Yoon slowly looked up at the person who had just appeared. It was John He. She smiled, offering him an apple. Want an apple? He took the apple and asked, Are you on your way back from the madam's shop? Thanks for the food. John He quickly replied, "My mom told me to bring these over to you and I just happened to run into you here." Seo-yoon looked at the full bag of apples in amazement. "Are you sure you can give me this many?" She sat down next to him and laughed. "We've been neighbors for 5 years, you know. Besides, my family always has extra fruit." Afterward, the two of them walked together. Seo-yoon suddenly asked, "By the way, how are things at school? Are you getting used to it?" John He didn't seem too eager to talk about it. "School," she replied flatly. "It's the same everywhere." Seo-yoon glanced at her while chewing his apple. "Is that so?" Just then, a loud voice interrupted their conversation. "Please let us in." Not far away, a disheveled woman blocked by the police was screaming non-stop. "I'm begging you, me." The little girl is still in the hotel room. John Hyun looked up and said softly, "It doesn't look like a fire. Don't tell me." Seo-yoon's voice also struggled to remain calm. "A dungeon break. When a gate is left unattended for too long, monsters will break through and pour into the real world." He quickly handed back the bag of apples and apologized to John Hyun. "Sorry, but can the apples wait a bit?" John Hyun was suspicious of this sudden action. "Well, okay, but why all of a sudden?" He didn't explain further. He had to rescue people. The surrounding crowd was growing, making things harder to control. A police officer noticed Seo-yoon and spoke up to stop him. "Sir, you can't just go in there by yourself." He held out his employee ID to prove his identity. "I'm with the rescue division." The police officer looked around doubtfully. "You're with rescue, but you came alone." Seo-yoon answered immediately, "The others should be here soon, but I'm going in first." The officer put out a hand to block his path. "No, you can't." He explained the situation clearly. "Right now, there's a group of red goblins in the hotel. It's too dangerous to go in alone." Seo-yoon acknowledged the concern without missing a beat. "That's exactly why I need to get in there quickly." The police officer was puzzled by this logic. What he explained his intention. "I heard there's still a young child in that hotel." "Well," the officer's voice faltered, trailing off. "Well, that's true." But Seo-yoon continued to step forward. "The guild hunters who were supposed to be here first haven't arrived yet, so I have to go." The police officer still tried to stop him. "Even so, going in alone is still—" He calmly left a reassuring word. "It's fine. Am I really alone?" Normally, the gate inside this hotel should have already been dealt with. By a local guild named Hanun, the ones in charge of this area. People trust the guild to handle it and go about their lives, but the guild doesn't bother with gates that don't make money. That's why sometimes a dungeon break will happen at a low-rank gate, and tragedies like this occur. Seo-yoon had now stepped inside the dungeon, his sixth sense activated. He observed for a moment before revealing his true purpose. "I'll just take a quick look and get right out. There's something I've been wanting to try." As soon as he finished the thought, a blurry figure flashed through the air. A horde of goblins rushed to attack him with surprising speed. Seo-yoon wasn't surprised at all. Instead, he smiled in appreciation. Right. This is how goblins should be. Then he leisurely activated a large sphere. Create sphere in the air. A black hole appeared and began to suck in everything around it. The horde of goblins clearly started to panic as they were pulled into that thing called a sphere. A moment later, the dungeon space was unbelievably clean. He glanced into the sphere. The me of the past couldn't have done this. Inside, the goblins were terrified when they discovered a pair of eyes watching their every move. But now Seo-yoon flashed a thrilled and excited smile. "I am the master of this labyrinth. Now the game truly begins." In that space, two types of monsters were chasing each other. Goblin-type monster, 1-star red goblin. They move under the command of a leader. And in most respects, they aren't that different from regular goblins, except for one thing: they hunt using tactics. The 1-star goblin had fallen into a preset trap, but Seo-yoon, standing outside, began to manipulate things. "I'm not letting that happen, you 1-star goblin." It was being chased by a horde of red goblins. A flash of light shot forward, forcing the chase to a halt. The red goblins crashed into a wall and bounced back. Seo-yoon was a little displeased with them after checking the map. "So you guys were messing around the moment I turned my back, huh? Labyrinth status? Unit Feta 14 out of 20. Gao 14. Enemy Unit 18 out of 20. Highland Goblin 18. So you're all getting used to the labyrinth, are you?" He strolled along, constantly marveling. "Having Gao hunt for me is really convenient. But now that more and more goblins are being sucked into the labyrinth, I'll have to keep moving from now on, while keeping an eye on the situation." He glanced inside with little sympathy. "Go on, keep up with your pathetic little tricks. Inside the labyrinth, you're the ones being hunted." In the hallway of the 17th floor, among the neat and tidy rooms, a little girl was hiding in a closet, trembling in fear. Suddenly, So-yoon's voice rang out. "You're So-mi, right?" He bent down to comfort the little girl. "You don't have to worry anymore. I've taken care of everything." After that, he quickly led the girl downstairs. So-mi looked around and timidly spoke up. "Mister, did you really take down all those goblins by yourself?" Seo-yoon answered naturally so as not to scare her. "Of course. If Gao takes care of them, it's the same as me taking care of them." He smiled, completely satisfied with his earlier decision. Luring them into the labyrinth was the right move. On the way up here, the goblins kept using their sense of smell to find hiding humans. If I hadn't come up here quickly, So-mi would have been discovered long ago. Just then, a red warning screen suddenly appeared. Warning: over 50% of the monsters guarding the labyrinth have been eliminated. The elevator slowly started working. Seo-yoon looked at the little girl and said, "So-mi, the elevator is working now, so you can go down." So-mi turned back doubtfully and asked, "Aren't you coming with me, mister?" The door slowly closed and his monotone voice could be heard. "There's still one more bad guy to deal with, you know." So-yoon rubbed the back of his neck, muttering, "I knew it. You're the one causing all this trouble inside that spatial zone, aren't you?" A chaotic battle was breaking out. At this rate, the Red Goblin King will hunt down every single Gao. Should I let the labyrinth boss fight it before the number of Gao decreases even more? No. If the boss loses, it'll be even more trouble. He hesitated for a moment, then decided, "Well, there is something I want to test anyway. Guess I'll have to go in myself." Seo-yoon stepped through the gate into the space by himself. The moment he entered, he couldn't help but exclaim at the sight of the Gao corpses scattered all over the ground. Seeing it with my own eyes, "You really did a number on this place." He waved his hand over the virtual map. "Stop bullying my Gao." On the map, a wall was erected, cutting off the chase. It seemed like just a second later. The Red Goblin appeared right where he was. Seo-yoon drew his weapon, ready to fight. "Come and get me!" The Red Goblin raised the massive sword in its hand. "Human." It immediately charged, swinging down at Seo-yoon. "I will kill you." He keenly observed Seo-yoon's movements, which were agile and precise, allowing him to evade the deadly strikes. He couldn't help but assess his own body. "Even though I'm this tired, my body feels so light. This is the level I've reached since awakening as a labyrinth architect." Profile name: Seo-yoon. Level 24. Class Labyrinth Architect. HP 150. Strength 45. Agility 40. Mana 90. Physical Defense 48. Skills: Labyrinth King Sphere of Telesensation. Sixth Sense. Gold 30. I can clearly feel that I'm not the same as before. Seo-yoon roughly assessed the situation. Initially, I was planning to play it safe and use the Gao, but then he said it with a confident voice, "It looks like I can handle this guy myself." The Red Goblin continued to rush forward, attacking relentlessly. Seo-yoon was not at a disadvantage, immediately retaliating with a perfectly aimed blow. The Goblin's strength was monstrous enough to shatter the stone tiles. It threw a punch at Seo-yoon. He quickly blocked and was pushed back. Seo-yoon regained his footing before the truly vicious monster. He spoke, unable to hide his excitement. "Thanks for that. I appreciate you deliberately knocking me over here. Really. But tell me something." Seo-yoon looked coldly at the trembling goblin, glancing at its injured arm. "Can you still swing that sword now?" He gently shook his numbing hand. "Since I'm already in such a perfectly prepared position." Now he started to provoke it again. "I might as well try that out, too. What are you doing? Where'd all that fighting spirit from before go?" Every word seemed to stomp the Red Goblin under his foot. "I invested 2 million won in you, you know. It'll be a problem if you're already exhausted from just this. If you're a king, you should start acting like one." "Why?" Seo-yoon put on a clearly contemptuous and sarcastic expression. "Ah, don't tell me I'm wrong. Are you scared of me?" These words successfully enraged the Red Goblin. It pushed off with great force. The monster charged at Seo-yoon as if it wanted to tear him to pieces. "I'll kill you." Seo-yoon remained calm and stood his ground. "Good. You'd better show me that my money was well spent. There's something I really want to test on you." The Red Goblin was completely blinded by rage. At that very moment, deep within the labyrinth, a certain system was activated, a defense mechanism essential to any labyrinth. The Red Goblin fiercely charged for a finishing blow on Seo-yoon. He spoke softly. "Trap. Spike ceiling. Activated." It didn't take long. The monster was instantly torn to pieces. The labyrinth returned to its quiet and desolate state. Seo-yoon calmly looked at the blood-soaked trap. He glanced at the system panel inside. It cost me 20 gold to install. But spike ceiling. Installation cost 20 gold, or pay the necessary cost for the trap. It was truly worth every penny. Seo-yoon was completely satisfied with this result, and its performance spoke for itself to the point where you'd almost feel sorry for anything that got caught in it. Level up, the defeated Red Goblin has been added to the labyrinth under the Labyrinth King. Back in reality, Seo-yoon wearily stretched his sore joints. I'm dead tired. Just then, a loud voice snapped him back to his senses. Seo-yoon, he asked with a dazed, innocent look. Captain, you were here. Lee-han couldn't help but lecture him. I've been here this whole time. You little devil. What the hell were you thinking, running off on your own and pulling a stunt like that, huh? He rushed over, patting Seo-yoon all over. Did you really take down that entire horde of red goblins by yourself? Look at all these wounds. Seo-yoon answered stiffly, trying to brush it off. I don't know. I got hit in the head, so I don't remember anything. In broad daylight, in front of everyone, Lee-han aggressively questioned him. Hey kid, lately whenever something happens you can't remember, huh? They say the goblins all vanished the moment you went in. Spit it out, what happened? Seo-yoon casually tried to bait his senior. If you buy me some beef, maybe my memory will come back. It's both annoying and funny. Your mouth is getting sharper and sharper, isn't it? And right at that moment, a man stepped forward, interrupting their conversation. Excuse me for cutting in. Are you from the rescue team? The young man introduced himself. I am Won Seong-sun, master of the Hanun Guild. Could I speak with you for a moment? Though Lee-han was suspicious, he still agreed. Yes, all right. Seong-sun bowed and spoke with sincere gratitude. First, I want to sincerely thank you for helping to resolve this dungeon break. He moved closer, patting them both on the shoulders as he got straight to the point. Song-sun's voice rang out steady and even. We would be very grateful if you could refrain from giving any interviews to the press about this incident. Lee-han was confused. Why is that? A sinister glint appeared in the man's eyes as he replied, Our guild doesn't want this incident getting out. Of course, we will compensate the hotel for the damages. But if bad stories about us start to spread, it will only make the residents more anxious, won't it? Seong-sun acted as if he were being considerate of both sides. Naturally, we also make regular donations to the Bureau. So I hope you can understand as a fellow hunter. Yoon couldn't help but judge silently. So this is how they buy people's silence. Still, he's not entirely wrong. Unlike us Bureau hunters who are mostly D-rank guild hunters, span every rank all the way up to S-rank. That's why people tend to trust those powerful guild hunters more, believing they are the ones who will protect them. The way the guilds exploit that trust makes my blood boil. But I also know this isn't something I can change on my own. Without another word, he slapped a hand firmly on Seong-sun's shoulder. Of course, we're all hunters here, so we completely understand. Besides, Seo-yoon had no interest in this kind of thing, and I wasn't planning on making a big deal out of this from the start. Even if I did, the Hunters Association would just step in and bury the story. There's nothing to be gained from drawing more attention to myself. A second later, Seo-yoon suddenly broke into a cold smile. But hey, even so, if it just ends like this, I feel like I'm getting a raw deal. He started poking him here and there. His voice was amicable, but it carried a warning. I don't know the exact amount of support money you had in mind. Seong-sun grew flustered and tried to back away. Hey, take it easy. Yoon's clear voice rang in his ear. But from now on, I'll probably have to clean up the messes that your guild hunters make time and time again. Finally, Seo-yoon got to his point. So I'll just be blunt. 10 billion. His golden eyes in the dark were like a snake watching its prey. I want you to sponsor us for about that much. We have a lot of needs on our side, you know. Seo-yoon continued on glibly as if what he'd just said was perfectly normal. An amount like that should be manageable, right? Seong-sun's face had turned a horrified shade of purple. 13 billion. Seo-yoon was jogging in a park, leisurely sipping an iced coffee after handling the dungeon break at the hotel. Seo-yoon was overjoyed. I got a 2-day leave. I have every right to be proud of myself. I handled everything on my own and even squeezed money out of the guild. This is a well-deserved reward. Seo-yoon didn't like the somewhat shady atmosphere. The problem was his colleagues kept giving him strange looks. Junmin was suspicious. Did he really take down all those goblins by himself? Hanbin was skeptical. Is that really our senior Seo-yoon? He couldn't be bothered to explain. There's no need to say anything for now. He already had plenty on his mind. If people find out I've reawakened, the 5th hunter of the rescue team awakens to a hidden class. The Bureau's official announcement stated, even without engaging in direct combat, many years of work in the high danger zone, the labyrinth is a weapon in itself. Hidden class. Labyrinth Architect. Appears. Though he doesn't fight directly as long as one is inside a structure he designs. Major guilds approach the reawakened hunter, a partner, not a subordinate. The major guilds are targeting a man with limitless potential. Things could get very troublesome. Seo Yoon wanted to make sure every step he took was a firm one, so for now, I'll just focus on maintaining the labyrinth. He already had a plan. First, he needed to spend currency to repair the cracked labyrinth walls and revive the monsters. Repair starting labyrinth. Durability 80 out of 150. Restoring 6 damaged blocks and 100 square meters of ground requires a total of 34 gold. Labyrinth monster revival. Cost 1 ghoul for 1 gold. 2 red goblins for 1 gold. 1 red goblin king for 3 gold. The currency is gold, which is also the standard currency for hunters. There's no separate currency exclusive to the labyrinth. So the calculations are easy, but... Seo Yoon hesitated to press the button. The problem was it was insanely expensive. Spend 53 gold to repair the starting labyrinth. No way. The total repair cost of 53 gold is 5.3 million won. This is crazy. It's almost double my monthly salary. Having money coming in definitely made him more confident. Still, I've managed to save up 80 gold so far. At the very least, I should probably invest this much. Seo Yoon paid close attention to every detail. Alright, next is, I seriously don't get it. Why is she calling me on my day off? Seo Yoon did not want to talk right now. I'm on leave. Whatever it is, make it quick, you B-rank trash from the supervisory team. Dong-hee's voice came from the phone. Oh, come on. As if you aren't just sitting around spacing out in some park right now. She saw this coming anyway. If you're on vacation, even better. That means you have plenty of time to use that scouting skill of yours. I'm Jong-hyun and I was hoping for your help. Can you tail someone for me right now? Lee Jong-hyun from the supervisory division. She heard nothing but silence from the other end of the line. Jong-hyun must have been furious with Seleon. Hello, did this guy really just hang up on me? He quietly calculated his options. I probably don't need to resurrect all the labyrinth monsters, do I? Seleon thought carefully. That way I can save some gold. And if I have to do it myself, it'll be faster anyway. He was planning his next move. If there's some kind of resurrection... Oh God, give me a break. Give me a... Just then, Seleon was annoyed by his phone ringing. She's from the supervisory division, for crying out loud. Can't she even find one person on her own? Jong-hee pleaded desperately, please, I'll buy you beef. A slender, delicate lady is begging you here. He mocked her words, slender, delicate. She was certain he thought the same. Besides, once you hear who it is, you'll want to find him yourself. This made Seo Yoon curious. So who is it? When he heard the name Jong-hee uttered, he froze. Kang Tai-san. This was indeed to Seo Yoon's liking. Yeah, I've wanted to meet him at least once. So you'll take the mission. A person of his caliber, I'll find him in no time. Sunlight streamed through the canopy of leaves. The old man captured a piece while his elderly friend was distracted. That was a wrong move, my friend, he yelled, demanding they switch games. You old geezer, switch to Go and play another round with me. But Tai-san firmly refused. If you want to play Go, I'm out. Even Seleon felt a sense of awe. I could already feel it from a distance. But up close, it's on a completely different level. Just by looking at his back, he immediately recognized the deep crimson aura that only powerful awakened possess. With an aura like that, he'd stand out even from afar, huh? Yoon didn't dare to step forward and confirm. Aura aside, is it really him? He first assessed his appearance, which was completely different from what he'd imagined. Just based on looks alone, he looked just like some old man from the countryside. This made the old man a little uncomfortable. Young man, you've been staring for a while now. Do you know how to play Chinese chess? Seleon acted humbly. Yes, I know a little. The man asked for his help. Well, then tell me what move I should make to beat this old geezer. He immediately showed him how to break the stalemate. If I may, you should move this rook first from here. The system quickly activated. Sixth sense has been activated. Something had just flown past Seleon's face. He was stunned to see the tree trunk smoldering. The 3 old men rushed over to check only to find a chess piece lodged firmly in the trunk. Tai-san suddenly wanted to talk with Seleon. I can overlook the fact that you approached me while hiding your true intentions. He no longer had any doubts, so my worries were for nothing. It really is him. Seleon had long heard of him, one of only 5 S-rank hunters in Korea. He knew the minor news and that he was the hunter, rumored to be able to turn anything he held into a lethal weapon. I don't approve of cheating, Tai-san said. But I can't just ignore that kind of rude backseat gaming. Kang Taeson S-Rank Hunter, the Weapon Master. A shout came from the distance. Master Jong-hyun arrived gasping for air from having rushed over. He glanced toward Seo-yoon. Are you from the Supervisory Division? He stated his position. No, I'm a scout for the Rescue Division. Taeson couldn't help but be surprised. A scout with this much nerve? Impressive. Seo-yoon casually shared with him, having too many talents is my curse. The old man immediately corrected his attitude. It'd be a lot better if you'd just shut that mouth of yours. Jong-hee was extremely worried. Sir, what are you doing here? I've been looking all over for you. Tyson recognized his subordinate. It's been a while. She urgently prompted him. The trainees have all gathered, so we need to head back quickly. He had no choice but to comply. All right. Jong-hyun was quite curious about his methods. But how did you find someone that even the Supervisory Division couldn't track down? He was being evasive. It wasn't convenient to reveal the truth. I have my own skills. In any case, my job here is done. I'm heading back now. Don't forget about that beef. Tyson suddenly asked, Hey, you cocky little brat. Where do you think you're going? He signaled for Seo-yoon to follow. You're a bureau hunter, too. Follow me. Taeson will lead you to the base. I want to personally test that insolent mouth of yours. He understood this better than anyone. Every awakened being has their own potential limit. Therefore, Taeson had come to the conclusion that a C-rank hunter, no matter how hard they trained, he could never escape C-rank. But he had his own objections. The system doesn't decide everything. Martial arts skills can't be fully captured by a few numbers. Taeson only believed in his own effort. In other words, depending on one's mastery of a weapon, they could become much stronger. He drew a sword containing immense energy, and with that, Tyson began to lead everyone. That is the very reason why you brats, you hunters of the Bureau, are standing here today. Seo-yoon really didn't want to be here. I just want to go back and check on the dungeon. He wanted to remind his student, How long have you been training under me? Chiu answered confidently, Sir, I am An-chu of the Supervisory Division. As of today, it has been 4 months, sir. A brown-haired guy immediately recognized him. That senior is one of the few B ranks in the Supervisory Division, right? Taeson affirmed Chiu's value. You have potential, which is why you are standing here now. He was overjoyed. Thank you, sir. He's definitely up to something. Then let me ask you something. Taeson posed a classic example. To use this sword correctly, what do you think is necessary? Chiu stated his own opinion. I think strong physical power and a deep understanding of one's own skills are important. He showed no reaction to the answer. Taeson shifted his attention to Seo-yoon. And you, the smart-mouthed brat standing next to him, what do you think? He answered unconsciously, following the thought in his head. I don't think it's anything complicated. It's the will to swing the weapon. The other trainees started to argue. What An-chu said sounds way more correct. Is that guy even a real trainee? It seems Taeson was still not satisfied with that answer. That sounds so amateurish. Are you sure? But Seo-yoon affirmed with conviction. I'm sure. He really is sharp for an S-rank. Taeson hoped he would fix his temperament from his attitude to that defiant look on his face. You really are arrogant. But he suddenly agreed with Seo-yoon's opinion. You're right. He accepted the praise from Taeson. Thank you, sir. Chiu was so furious he gritted his teeth. Seeing someone better than him, he screamed his head off over such a trivial matter. Master, why is that answer correct? Besides, I can't accept the fact that some guy who isn't even a trainee is standing here with us right now. Seo-yoon couldn't believe this guy. Why is he freaking out over a single question? He's not a child. Taeson had always valued talent. Anyone who is qualified can stand here. This wasn't the original plan, but I will give you two a test. He wanted to use it to test their true abilities. You can prove your answers. Do you accept? Chiu didn't hesitate and agreed to the arrangement. Yes, sir. He was about to take the blame himself. Actually, you can just say I was wrong. Taeson still seemed a little worried. In that case, I'll have to stick with my original choice and just keep the big guy here. But is this really okay? He announced the terms in front of all the trainees. Passing my test means becoming my disciple. Understand, Seo-yoon never dared to dream of this. The disciple of an S-rank hunter? He cherished today's test. This wasn't just a chance to become stronger, but also a chance to rise to a much higher position. Taeson was glad he had caught Seo-yoon's attention. So you're finally getting fired up, rookie? He had been standing still without saying a word. Seo-yoon gripped his wrist tightly. He had faith in his own abilities. I'll pass this with ease. Taeson had no intention of making it difficult. The test was very simple. He gave a seemingly easy requirement. Use the skills that I have passed on to you. And shatter. As many of the Ager stones in front of you as you can. The winner here. But Tisan had likely already made up his mind. Will become my disciple. Seo Yun heard the familiar name Ager stone. According to his knowledge, it was a type of stone infused with mana. I heard they only appear in temples. I also heard that only powerful awakened beings can break them. Seo Yun thought carefully about the instructions. But what does he mean by the skills that I have passed on? Chiyu excitedly shouted, "Supervisory division!" He didn't have much time to hesitate. Whatever, it doesn't matter. And so Seo Yun made up his mind. I will seize this opportunity. Tisan would do exactly as he promised. Now I will transfer my skills to you. He stepped forward, preparing to display his abilities. Of course, if you can't feel anything at all, then you will be eliminated on the spot. Remember that. The students behind him shouted in unison, "Yes, sir!" Tisan was eager to begin. Well then, let's start. The system witnessed the event and confirmed, "You have sensed the aura of the weapon master." He tried to remain calm. I can't breathe. He did this with his aura alone. Do I have to endure this to receive his skill? He wouldn't allow himself to give up. I feel like I could pass out at any moment, but at the same time, a weapon appeared before him. I see it too. A sparkling blue light enveloped the weapon. The system updated its information skill acquired. You have acquired Clear Mirror Still Water. You've grasped the Dragon King's style. Tisan figured it out the moment he saw you. Seeing the expressions on both your faces, he felt a bit more at ease. Well, it's certain that you both have talent. For now, that alone is enough to be proud of. Tisan assessed the situation through their expressions. Most people either feel nothing at all, or if they do, they collapse instantly. He gently stroked his beard and sighed. Then Tisan turned his gaze toward his students. Who will be the first to prove themselves? Seo gripped the hilt of his sword. He stood before the Ager stone. He had been jealous of Seo Yun from the moment they met. I'll make you so scared you won't even dare to think of stepping forward. He'd always looked down on others. Your will. It's truly pathetic, isn't it? From the moment you walked in with that old man. I knew you were suspicious. Seo wouldn't stop bad-mouthing him. I don't know how a worthless D-ranker like you managed to get a skill transfer, but in the end you're just the type who paid money to crawl your way in here. He was determined to prove his strength. Power is everything. Seo's attack cracked the stone block, making everyone's jaw drop in amazement. The Eager Stone. It broke that easily. Why is a guy like him working as a bureau hunter? Tisan praised his effort. So you've learned the Dragon King sword style. Not bad. Seo Yun was the next promising candidate. Seo nudged his shoulder, giving him a look. Know your place, kid. Don't steal your senior spotlight. Of course, Seo Yun paid no mind to the threat. If I always had to know my place, how could I survive, save the condescending act for later senior? Tisan awaited his performance. Next up is the rookie Seo Yun. He couldn't deny the guy's talent. I only talked back because his tone pissed me off. But when it comes to raw power, he's definitely stronger than me. He focused more than ever before. Even so, this isn't a test based on strength alone. This is a test to prove my own answer. Seo Yun's confidence in himself grew. And besides, he said my answer was correct. He recalled his answer. The will to swing a weapon. It's true I answered almost on instinct, but that's exactly why it was my true answer. In his heart, Seo Yun had always wondered, so why do I swing my weapon, the blue-haired man, and sent a monster flying with a single punch? He would never forget that his life was saved. The answer was right here all along, to become like him, the one who saved me. Seo Yun wanted to bring that same salvation to the weak so that even more people could feel the same hope that I once felt. He had walked this path to get to where he is today. That's why I became a bureau hunter. And to achieve that goal, I have to become... Seo Yun had no choice but to risk it all. Stronger. The power erupting from his weapon was immense. His classmates had never seen anything like it before. Only Tisan showed no reaction at all. Even Seo was frozen on the spot. What the hell was that? Seo Yun greeted him as calmly as ever. Sorry about that, senior. But he added with a triumphant tone, I'll be taking that position now. Tisan simply offered a piece of advice. Weapons and skills are merely tools. No matter what weapon you hold, you must understand yourself to unleash your true power. He decided to choose Seo Yun, rookie from this day forward. You are my disciple. He could finally flash a genuine smile. Thank you, Master Seo Yun saw the approval from everyone. someone said in a bossy tone. See, if you had just come out when we called you, things wouldn't have turned out like this. Jin-tae grabbed a female student by the hair and scolded her. You just kept hiding. Now look at the state you're in. The blonde girl, her classmate, spoke sarcastically. Seeing Jeon-hee end up like this, just for interfering one time, it breaks my heart too. She shouted at her, You wanted to help your friend that badly, huh? The blonde girl was furious because Jeon-hee had slapped Jin-tae. Even if you're going to help someone, you should pick your battles. Why did you have to go and mess with Jin-tae? He probably didn't expect to be slapped. She was furious, but she still had to endure it. Jin-tae took this opportunity to mock her. Anyway, too bad for you. There are no friends left to help you now. He twisted the knife in her wound. Your friend threw herself off the rooftop. She's in the hospital now. Jeon-hee glared at Jin-tae with daggers in her eyes. He did not look pleased at all. You keep looking at us like that. It just makes me want to hit you even more. Gu-won suddenly appeared. Young master? He didn't seem surprised at all. So you were here already? Jin-tae proudly introduced him. Our great B-rank hunter. He couldn't feel at ease. We're about to leave, so make sure she doesn't run. Jin-tae walked past Gu-won. You're coming with us too. He wanted to know. May I ask where we are going? He didn't want to reveal their secret plans. Why do you think I called you here? Obviously to somewhere with no people around. Jin-tae was already getting excited. A place where we can play however we want. Sunlight shone on the tall buildings. Jeon-hee turned and admired them. Seo-yoon is so lucky. You became the disciple of an S-rank hunter, and he even told you to pick any weapon you like. She just wanted to confirm, is that one spear really enough? Seo-yoon is always careful before making a decision. This one is all I need. The weapon he received was a rare item because there was nothing better than it. Evolving Spear logo high grade, durability 50 out of 50, attack power 40 to 60. Condition 1 who has answered the will of the logo. Exclusive effect, can evolve into a form that suits the user's will depending on the level of adaptation to the surrounding environment. Jong-hyun couldn't help but feel that something was off. Why are so many strange things happening today? It's been a long time since quitting time. Seo-yoon was being teased by someone from the monitoring team. Does standing behind someone and watching also count as working? He firmly pushed Jong-hyun out. You can't go in there. This made Jong-hyun furious. This guy, the madam has been waiting outside for a long time. Chief Seo-yoon is still in there, isn't he? Right, I'll just see him for a moment and come right out. The guard could only temporarily block her. We're not sure either, but in any case, civilians are not allowed inside. He tried to find a way to help. If you wanted to see him, you should have called him first. The madam is getting anxious. I'm here because he isn't picking up his phone. Seo-yoon had come to see her. Madam. The madam was so happy to see him. Seo-yoon. He didn't understand what was happening. Is something wrong? It took her a long time to get the words out. It's... Our Jeon-hee. Jeon-hee she... The madam couldn't help but worry. She's been dragged to the yellow belt. Seo-yoon couldn't dare to imagine such a scenario. He couldn't take it anymore. Who the hell is the bastard that did this? Inside the dark and eerie forest, a frightened voice cried out. Is it really okay to go this deep? Jin-tae walked on calmly and casually. That's why I brought a B-rank hunter with me. Oh, right. And we have to test him out too. He smirked sinisterly. If they fight, who do you think will win? It or the monster? Suddenly, Jin-tae turned and wrapped his arm around Jeon-hee's neck. Don't tell me you're scared, are you? Relax. I heard the monsters here are weak. Just fight with the same spirit you had when you slapped me. Her lips were pressed tightly together, unable to hold back her fear. Suddenly, Jeon-hee broke free and ran. Jin-tae's face went cold as he ordered Uwan, catch it! At that moment, she was running for her life. If it's him, he'll really catch me and beat me. I don't want to die. I have to find a way to escape. Suddenly, a foot shot out and tripped her, causing Jeon-hee to stumble. Uwan looked on indifferently as she fell to the ground, pinned down by him. She struggled with all her might. Someone help me. Is anyone there? Jong-hyun walked over and complained. What are you screaming so loud for? There's no one else here but us anyway. Suddenly, an unexpected aura appeared from a distance. Uwan was the first to notice. Something's coming. Get back. Jong-hyun, still not knowing. Fear, said a monster. Jin-tae said the ones here are weak, so... Before he could finish his sentence, a volley of darts flew out of nowhere. Immediately after, Jin-tae was horrified. Jeon-hee had been hit by one right in the chest. She was dying. Uwan stood in front of him. Young master, you have to run back the way we came. Right now. Jinte still wanted to ask. What the hell came out of there? His sharp eyes scanned the area. Large wasps began to appear in the area. Uwan said they are stinger wasps. At the same time, elsewhere in the forest, Seoyun was on the phone with someone. Thanks for taking on that crazy request. He looked at the scattered dead wasps on the ground and asked the person on the other end. You were the one who told the madam where John-hee was, right? Jongmin casually fiddled with a cigarette and replied, I was just responding to a missing persons report, that's all. I don't know why. You insisted on going in alone, but... He paused for a moment, then warned, Be careful. Be careful out there. Kang Jongmin Player Division. Seoyun listened to the phone call, while cautiously scanning his surroundings. Since when did you start worrying about me? Even so, looking at the dark and bizarre forest with its dangerous aura, he had to admit, this is the kind of place no one would want to live in. The Yellow Belt, a restricted area created by sealing off, a place where a dungeon break made control impossible. The monsters here aren't strong, but they are cunning, making them difficult to handle. He chose to move from this spot. If I deal with them myself, their only advantage is numbers, and they feel even weaker than red goblins. Seoyun started to speed up his run. Even so, a non-awakened person wouldn't last long here. I have to get Jeonhee out of here as fast as possible. The sharp stingers of the wasps flew towards him. Seoyun leaned to the side to dodge them. They plunged straight into the ground. As soon as he looked up, he saw an entire swarm flying towards him. Immediately after the command was established, create sphere. In Seoyun's hand was a ball of power. These bastards have been rushing me non-stop since the entrance, but I don't have time for this. He held up an image of a beheaded wasp projected in the center of the sphere. Now then, go ahead and call all your friends, relatives, and everyone you can from your nest. Not only were they not afraid, but they slowly started gathering one by one surrounding the entire area. What is this formation? Seoyun raised an eyebrow. Looks like there are more of them than I thought. The moment he finished speaking, the army of hornets charged at him. Startled, he quickly ran. The scene became incredibly chaotic. Amidst the tension, Seoyun also grew a little anxious. This is starting to get dangerous. The dungeon monsters have been decreasing very quickly. The information panel displays the dungeon status. Current Feta units 18 out of 35, ghouls 10, red goblins 8, remaining enemy units 34 out of 56, stinger hornets 34. Their numbers are dropping fast. He began to calculate. If I lure any more of them into the maze, it'll collapse. Seoyun pulled his hood over his head, nimbly dodging the attacks. Besides, I can't handle that many by myself. Then he gathered his strength and leaped up. If that's the case. Seoyun raised both hands toward the sphere in the middle of the lake. It's time to use my last resort. A smug grin appeared on his face. How do you guys feel about water? Immediately after, jets of water shot out from the sphere's hole toward the hornets. Before they could recover, Seoyun lifted his leg high, preparing for the finale. He kicked the sphere hard and shouted, Water impact! The sphere's opening sucked in swirling currents of water. Elsewhere, an iron-blooded orc had just been defeated by the hornets when its body was suddenly covered in a layer of light. Before the hornets could react, a violent torrent of water from the lake suddenly flooded in. The entire space was submerged, and the hornets obviously were dead, floating belly up. Seoyun observed everything through the sphere, unable to help but feel annoyed. Repairing the maze is going to cost a fortune again. Oh my gold. This is exactly why I hate using this method. He clenched his fist and the sphere vanished. Still, as Seoyun's eyes swept over the forest, at least it's finally quiet around here. At the same time, hasty, hurried footsteps pounded on the ground. Jintai's group was desperately fleeing from the hornets. Just how far are those things going to chase us? He exploded in anger, questioning Yugon. You're a B rank who can't even handle a few bugs making me run like this. He tried to explain, I can't handle all of them by myself, there are too many. But Jintai was clearly too frantic to care anymore. Shut up, I'm already pissed off that we're lost in here. You useless goddamn B rank. Suddenly a stinger flew out. Seo was unlucky enough to get hit, his face freezing in shock. Seeing this, the others froze, not daring to run anymore. The hornets were slowly and menacingly approaching. He shouted loudly, Hey B rank, there are more of them up ahead. And then another one began approaching Jintai's position. Panicking, he grabbed Jeonhee by the hair and pulled her in front of him as a shield. Damn it. Do something. Anything? But unexpectedly, a sweeping red blade appeared, protecting the two of them. Seeing the hornet get destroyed, they both stood stunned. Jintai stammered in a shaky voice as he looked in the direction of the attacker. Who is that? That hand was gripping a glowing red sword hilt. "I'm a hunter from the Bureau, you son of a bitch." Under the moonlight, Seo-yoon's hostility radiated intensely. "So you're the ones who dragged—" "A John-hee here." Seeing that it was Seo-yoon, John-hee quickly ran to him. "Seo-yoon." He gently stroked her head, comforting her. "Are you okay? This is the first time I've ever seen you cry." Seeing this, Jintai spoke aggressively. "Hey, hunter from the Bureau!" He pointed a finger commandingly. "You know the way out of here, right? Once we're out, I'll pay you. Hurry up and lead us." John-hee's face turned cold, not wanting to help. "Seo-yoon, just ignore that piece of trash. Let's just go." But Seo-yoon spoke to her in a low voice. "I'm sorry, John-hee." Before she could react, he struck the back of her neck and John-hee fell to the ground unconscious. Seo-yoon whispered, "I'll finish this up quickly and get you out of here." Seeing this, Jintai became terrified. "What the hell are you doing?" Seo-yoon planted the tip of his staff into the ground. "What does it look like?" He smirked slightly, interlacing his fingers and cracking his knuckles. "I'm about to do something I don't want John-hee to see." He grew more and more panicked. "Fuck you and that bitch are both insane. Do you have any idea who I am?" Seo-yoon casually answered, "If you're a hunter from the Bureau, all it takes is one look at your face to know. Park Jin-tae, son of the Supreme Court's Chief Justice Park Byung-jin." He listed off some of the crimes he had committed. School violence, theft, drunk driving. Seo-yoon stepped closer. "You've committed every crime in the book." Jin-tae remained arrogant. "And then used money to cover it all up, so what? What's it to you?" The moment he finished speaking, Seo-yoon instantly attacked. He cried out in pain, his face turning pale. Seo-yoon dragged Jin-tae, forcing him to crawl pathetically on the ground. "Must be nice, huh? Being able to solve every problem with money. If that's the case—" A glint flashed in his eyes. "Let's see if you can buy me." Just as Seo-yoon was about to bring his fist down, something came rushing at him. Ugon threw a hook, but he ducked and dodged it. His eyes grew more dangerous. "Looks like the warm-up is over." With someone backing him up, Jin-tae returned to his haughty self. "You psycho!" He watched from the sidelines as Ugon fought Seo-yoon. He sneered arrogantly. "It's useless to beg for your life now. You're going to die here with that bitch." He stepped back, grabbing the handle of his staff. Seo-yoon raised it to block his opponent's blow. He gripped the staff tightly. "I was only planning on scaring you a little, but not anymore." An intense killing intent erupted from Seo-yoon's entire body. "You were the ones who tried to kill first." As he finished his sentence, a powerful force suddenly shot out, striking straight at Ugon. He couldn't help but be surprised. Hunters from the Bureau were usually only around D rank, so why was he the one being pushed back? If he were a B rank, there's no way I wouldn't recognize him. Watching his opponent's fighting style, Ugon grew suspicious. Is this guy really a Bureau hunter? He struggled to parry the attacks, reassuring himself. It doesn't matter. If his weapon's a spear. Then Ugon used all his strength to shove Seo-yoon away. He charged forward recklessly, telling himself, I just need to slip past him and cut him down. But to his surprise, Seo-yoon easily caught his hand. By rushing in like that, the distance between him and Ugon had closed. Seo-yoon's eyes flashed. He was obviously about to get punched. Just then a fist slammed into his face. The immense force sent Ugon's massive body flying backward. Seeing him unconscious, Jin-tae started to panic. Hey, B-rank, get up, will you? Did you buy that B-rank license with my dad's money or something? Wiping his face, he looked slightly surprised. So that guy was a B-rank hunter, Seo-yoon thought back. So the stats I gained from hunting cabbage hornets were real. He couldn't hide his satisfaction. I finally surpassed even a B-rank hunter. Suddenly, Jin-tae bent down and picked up a large rock. You pathetic little bureau hunter! He charged recklessly, screaming frantically, What are you smiling at? But all it took was a single flick of his staff to knock Jin-tae off his feet. His head slammed hard against the ground. Seo-yoon looked down at Jin-tae, who was clutching his head in pain. How's that feel? Have you ever been beaten this badly before? The people you've tormented all this time have suffered 10 times more than this. But he clearly felt no remorse, even acting as if it were obvious. If they don't want to get hit, they should have armed themselves with charm or money or something. That's just how the world works. So why are you taking it all out on me? Seo-yoon couldn't hide his contempt. This world really would be a better place without trash like you. Hearing this, Jin-tae flinched and covered his face warily. What are you going to do? But he had no intention of doing it himself. Don't worry. I'm not confident I can make a piece of trash like you suffer as much as you deserve. And with that, Seo-yoon walked over to Jeon-hee and lifted her up. He then turned to him and said word by word, "I'll let the hungry beasts take care of you." As soon as he finished speaking, a furry body materialized in front of Jintai. 3 wolves advanced, baring their fangs and growling. He shrieked in terror, "No, don't come any closer! I said stay away!" Jintai's desperate screams did nothing to stop the wolves. "You sons of bitches!" Meanwhile, Seo-yoon coldly carried Jeon-hee away without a backward glance. He walked on without stopping, and just like that, the kidnapping of Jeon-hee in the Gold Belt had come to an end. Jeon-hee was finally able to return safely to her family's embrace. Jong-moon reported the situation to him. "We've also confirmed it. Officials from the player management division were the ones who let Park Jin-tae into the Gold Belt. This, along with their punishment, is sure to cause an uproar for a while." The case blew up across the media. Headline: Gold Belt classmate kidnapping. One of the perpetrators is the son of the Supreme Court Chief Justice. Parents outraged. HBC News. Following the revelation that one of the culprits is the son of the Supreme Court Chief Justice, the whereabouts of the high school accomplice in the Gold Belt incident are still under investigation. TV News. Gold Belt kidnapping high school students named as perpetrators. Evidence of contract with backing official leaked. What began as a case that was thought to be just concluded with his resignation of Supreme Court Chief Justice Park Jin-byom, and then at a modern skyscraper. A new mission appeared before Seo-yoon. The information panel popped up. Mission Extermination. Defeat the Queen Wasp, who resides at the top of the Wasp Hive. Time limit: 30 days. Reward for success: Poison Stinger. 100 gold. The Queen Wasp's Royal Jelly. Penalty for failure: proficiency in dealing with insect-type monsters decreases by 50%. Seo-yoon gradually recalled his time in the forest. The Queen Wasp. That must be the one I saw back then. It looked completely different from the other wasps. As I was leaving the Golden Belt, the other wasps were all protecting it so it won't be easy to take down. But Seo-yoon's face couldn't hide his excitement. I want it. He was very clear about his goal. The regular wasps alone were already strong enough to destroy a labyrinth, so the queen must be even stronger. At this thought, Seo-yoon raised his hand to report, "I have somewhere to be today, so I'd like to take my leave now." Lee-han chuckled, offering a gentle reminder, "It's good to be proactive. But before that, how about you finish today's paperwork first?" But he just stared blankly, saying nothing and not moving toward him. Then, as expected, Seo-yoon gave Lee-han the cold shoulder, decisively closing the door on his way out. There was 1 month until the Wasp mission's deadline. During that time, the number of wasps would surely increase. He had now arrived before a large temple gate, thinking to himself, which means I also have to prepare thoroughly. As soon as he saw Seo-yoon, a deep, steady voice rang out. "You're late." Tae-san waved him over. "Come in. Training will begin immediately." The sun was gradually setting, blanketing the sky in twilight. Inside the room, Seo-yoon wore a slightly disbelieving expression as he pointed to himself. "I'm Master's personal disciple." Master Tae-san continued walking as he reassured him. "Don't feel too pressured. Even as a personal disciple, there are still 2 people above you, and you still have a mountain of training ahead of you." He led Seo-yoon to a specific area. "This is the place." Gunsu stepped forward, bowing his head slightly as he reported, "I have finished the preparations." Master Tae-san replied, "Good work, Gunsu." Seo-yoon also gave a polite, slight nod as a greeting. Gunsu's gaze followed him so intently that he didn't even notice when his junior female disciple called out to him, "Pay attention." First, Tae-san showed him something. This is the jawbone of a poisonous mutant monster called the Iron Ghost. He turned around, revealing his bare back, which was covered in massive scars. This was the first thing that ever pushed me to the brink of death. And with one hand, Tae-san grabbed a handle. "This will be your training for this session." Then his eyes lit up as he let out a great shout. His entire body suddenly erupted with terrifying power, prying the 2 ends of the bone apart. Even Tae-san himself had to marvel at his own body. Still as solid as ever. The 2 handles were then closed again. Gunsu, standing on the side, clapped. "That's our master for you." The little girl also chimed in enthusiastically. "You're the best." Only Seo-yoon was left completely stunned. His body is like a mobile fortress. He walked over to him, gesturing. "Give it a try." Seo-yoon didn't hesitate, replying, "Yes, sir." He moved to where Tae-san had just been. Looking at the 2 handles, he thought, "I've already surpassed the level of a B-rank hunter now. I might not be able to open it as wide as Master, but..." Seo-yoon's eyes widened as he strained. Is this, gains? I should at least be able to make it budge a little. The old man stroked his beard with a calm expression. Well, this is unexpected. Seeing him struggle with no results, Tae-san even taunted. I didn't think it would be completely immobile like this. Tae-san decided to turn and leave. Through this training, you will build strength throughout your entire body, so keep at it, and never stop challenging yourself. I'll tell you this now. He paused for a moment. Until you can open that jaw, there will be no next stage of training. After that, Tae-san left with the little girl. He left Gunsu in the room with him. He scoffed inwardly, I knew it. He's just the type who got in through the back door with connections. Gunsu's memory flashed back to the first day he set foot in this temple. It had been 2 years since he joined the Martial Arts Association. Gunsu had trained harder than anyone to become a personal disciple. He couldn't help but feel a sense of injustice as he thought of Seo-yoon. But the one who ultimately achieved that position wasn't me, a B-rank hunter, but some nobody who just crawled his way in. Truly, Gunsu was not having it at all. It's so unfair. That day, as he was climbing up to the temple, a voice suddenly called his name. Good morning, senior brother Kang Gunsu. Seo-yoon smiled and repeated himself. Good morning, senior brother Kang Gunsu. Gunsu maintained the proper etiquette in his address. You're the second one here. Senior Seo-yoon, he exclaimed. You're here really early, senior. He walked over and patted Gunsu on the shoulder. Even though it's a day off, it's good to come in early, isn't it? After all, I'm still the youngest one here. But he was quite rigid. You may speak casually with us, but we cannot do the same in return. Gunsu noticed that the surrounding area was very clean and immediately asked, Did you already sweep the path, senior? He replied, Yeah, it was a bit messy, so I tidied up. However, Gunsu did not approve of this. Next time, please don't do that. It puts us juniors in an awkward position. Seeing this, he approached extremely puzzled. Do we really need to be so strict about the hierarchy between seniors and juniors here? It's that obvious, huh? When Seo-yoon explained his reasoning, he said, I have the time and I want to do it, so I just do it. Just because I'm a direct disciple doesn't mean I want to push work onto others. His attitude was incredibly sincere. We all came here to get stronger together. Right? But in Gunsu's mind, there was only one thought. What an eyesore. He watched everything for the next 2 weeks. That guy came to the dojo every single day without missing a single one. And he always stayed later than everyone else to train. Gunsu took note of his behavior. Even though he was a direct disciple, he never acted high and mighty toward the other students. He never found Seo-yoon agreeable. The guy isolated himself from everyone and trained like a madman, which only made him more of an eyesore. And he really was an eyesore. However, he couldn't help but grant Seo-yoon a certain degree of recognition. But he's the exact model of who I want to become. This time during practice, the two skulls had separated by a distance of 1 fist. The other disciples who saw this were extremely excited. You almost got it. Just a little more and you'll do it, senior. Suddenly a hand offered water to Seo-yoon. Gunsu was a bit awkward, but his tone was less prickly. Don't overdo it, Seo-yoon. He noticed this friendly attitude as well. He responded with a smile. So you've finally dropped the formal speech. Suddenly a sound echoed from above. A curious Seo-yoon asked, What's that horn-like sound? Gunsu explained, That's the sound of the Overcross Guild departing. He added, I heard Overcross is about to enter a nearby dungeon. Looks like it's today, Seo-yoon said, quite surprised. At this hour, Gunsu replied as he turned away. Overcross works day and night because they have a lot of people. He glanced at Gunsu. You know quite a lot, huh? He explained. It's just that before, I worked for that guild for a short time, at the same time in the forest. Because it was daytime, the atmosphere seemed less gloomy. Suddenly, a dimensional gate opened and a group of mysterious people stepped out. One of them spoke. The job was finished in just 1 day, faster than I thought. His colleague beside him exclaimed, Catching a blood iron orc that fast is amazing. The two of them chatted as they walked. But are we really allowed to capture that kind of monster? Well, normally no. They talked, not noticing that the figure of a blood iron orc had appeared behind them. But if we can sell this one, we'll make at least 12 billion to 1. Our salaries don't just fall from the sky. We get paid thanks to hauls like this. Get it? While danger loomed close, the two remained completely oblivious. So what about those orc tribe necklaces? Can they be sold? The blood iron orc's mouth was smeared with blood, its 2 long fangs sharp and pointed. The others continued their chatter. In your dreams. They're filthy. Throw them away. Who would buy a necklace from a trash monster like that? A murderous aura radiated from the blood iron orc as its body gradually emerged. Outside the dimensional gate on the street, the rescue team was moving the injured. Li Han spoke to Seo Yun. We're all done here, ready to head back. But he refused. I'm going straight to the Martial Arts Association. Li Han tried to persuade him. Come on. It's been a while since the whole crew went out for drinks. Come with us. Seo Yun remained firm. I can't. I really can't. Master isn't at the dojo today, so I promised I'd look after the students. Suddenly, a loud noise erupted. What was that? The radio on his shoulder immediately crackled with the commander's voice. All units requesting urgent backup. We've received a report that a 3-star boss monster was being illegally transported, has escaped and is currently on a rampage. The incident location, the reported location, is the Korean Martial Arts Association. The place was completely devastated. Get here immediately. What's with that orc? Where did it come from? A female disciple was trying to lead a little girl away. Young lady, you have to leave here right now. The little girl's face was pale with fear, but before her the ferocious blood iron orc stomped forward. But Master is still in there. The one fighting it was Gunsu. Gunsu's mind flashed back to when he first started. From the first day I joined the Overcross Guild, I thought I was a genius. I told myself that using the affiliated guilds was a perfectly natural thing to do, the rightful privilege of the strong. However, the hidden stories were later revealed. But in that guild, I was nothing more than a cog in a giant, relentlessly turning machine, and it was only then that I realized just how cruel this world is. His hand tightened around the hilt of his broken sword. Even so, I still don't want to believe that this entire world has rotted away. Just like the person who saved me, whose name I still don't know. Now I, too. Gunsu struggled to his feet again. Want to help someone, and to make this world a better place, even if just by a little. Even when he was torn and bloody, his spirit never wavered. That's how I've managed to hold on here for the past 2 years. You damn bald bastard. However, Gunsu knew full well that with his own strength, he could barely even stand anymore. But as long as that thing's attention is on me, I have to hold out, he told himself, even if it's just for one more minute or at least one more second. The iron-blooded orc, clearly knowing its opponent was about to collapse, eagerly raised its hand to deliver the final blow. Just then, the ceiling above was shattered by a powerful force. Crash! Then Gunsu saw a foot stomping on the iron-blooded orc. You did well, Gunsu. His face couldn't help but show his surprise. Seo Yun flashed a confident smile, holding an orb in his hand. I'll take it from here. A system notification appeared. Do you wish to enter the dungeon? A moment later, inside the dark dungeon, his steps were nimble and strong as he stepped onto the floor. I acted all cool and dragged it into the dungeon, but... Seo Yun looked behind him and yelled at the iron-blooded orc chasing him. Hey, don't stick so close to me! He thought to himself, this monster is even more terrifying than I thought. His expression turned serious. An iron-blooded orc. Did it really just fight, Lee? The Overcross Guild. Seo Yun recalled the wall not far behind him. I've never seen anything smash through a dungeon wall like this. He tried his best to dodge, making sure not to get hurt. No wonder they call it the highest-ranking orc species. In my current state, I can't handle this thing alone. Then, Seo Yun raised 2 fingers and a gleam of light flashed. If that's the case, here's a gift for you. A cloud of smoke spread through the area. Soon red goblins appeared surrounding the iron-blooded orc. All-out attack! Meanwhile, Seo Yun drew his staff, waiting for the right moment. The moment it shows an opening, I'll go all out. They charged forward with ferocity, but it only took one swing to block them. The system displayed a notification. Dungeon status. Current allied units, 29 out of 35. Ghouls, 12. Red goblins, 17. Remaining enemy units, 1 out of 1. Iron-blooded orc, 1. Seo Yun angrily shouted, You bastard, I just finished repairing this dungeon. Looking at the situation, he quickly thought of another way to solve this. As expected, it's really hard for regular monsters to create an opening. I don't want to use this method because it's too risky. But the longer this drags on, the thicker that hardened blood layer gets. No choice. I have to call him out. Then a sturdy leg materialized, stomping heavily on the floor. Gao's massive body lunged forward, grabbing tightly onto the iron-blooded orc. It flashed a toothy grin, its yellow eyes shining brightly. The small-fried dungeon boss. Next, Gao opened its mouth and chomped down on its opponent's entire hand. The iron-blooded orc tried to push its head away. Seizing the opportunity, Seo Yun advanced with his staff. Finally! Now I can... He forcefully stabbed the sharp tip into a spot on its body. I see an opening in its skin. The iron-blooded orc roared in pain, struggling. Gao's eyes were covered, unable to see. The iron-blooded orc used its overwhelming strength and squeezed until it was completely exhausted. Finally, a notification rang out. The small fry dungeon boss has been defeated. Warning, as the dungeon boss has been eliminated, the monster respawn function is now disabled. Xiaoyun landed in frustration. Because of you, my dungeon boss! He spun around, kicking off the ground to launch himself up. Really did become a small fry. A wall activated, slowly opening up cracks. Immediately after, a barrage of arrows was suddenly fired. Steel arrow rain trap activated. The orc's massive body was riddled with arrows. Xiaoyun gritted his teeth and plunged his staff into its skin. A flash of lightning sparked in his eyes. One more. The iron-blooded orc's body collapsed once again. Xiaoyun didn't stop. He pushed off his toes, leaping to the ceiling, revealing sharp points. Spiked ceiling trap activated. As expected, less than a second later, the iron-blooded orc was crushed by the spiked ceiling trap. Fresh blood splattered everywhere. He looked at the battlefield and felt a sense of relief. Just in case I had already set up a bunch of traps in this area. Xiaoyun thought to himself, looks like it was effective after all. Suddenly he saw a notification board appear displaying a series of information. Warning, novice dungeon durability 72%. Remaining monsters in Dungeon 11. If the durability drops below 60%, or all monsters are killed, the dungeon will automatically disappear. After reading it, Xiaoyun felt even more drained. This time I even lost my boss. The losses are huge. My gold, even so. Without the dungeon, it would have been nearly impossible to take this thing down. Suddenly, he noticed the spiked ceiling cracking and shattering. Even more shocking was that the iron-blooded orc, which he thought had been destroyed, suddenly rose up. This time, it had become even more ferocious. A red system notification appeared. Warning, the iron-blooded orc has entered a berserk state. Xiaoyun was so mad he burst out laughing, materializing the orb. You're a real stubborn one, aren't you? But this place is about to collapse because of you. You know it's probably safe outside by now. The black hole in this middle swelled up large enough to suck in the iron-blooded orc. I've decided to go outside and finish you off. Outside the academy, the landscape was quickly repaired, returning to its original state. Gunsu clutched his injured body and looked around. The entire trainee academy had been evacuated. So where did Xiaoyun disappear to? An orb gradually appeared, piquing his curiosity. It grew larger and larger, creating a powerful wind. Gunsu was astonished. Mana, from thin air. But he was even more stunned to see the Oros, the iron-blooded orc and Xiaoyun facing off against each other. At that moment, Xiaoyun, it's in an incredibly ferocious state. It threw a punch, but he was still able to block the blow with his staff. However, a doubt suddenly arose in Xiaoyun's mind. What the hell? Don't tell me I'm just barely managing to hold on. Is it because it was already weakened? I can feel it clearly. Our stamina levels. No, its attacks are even stronger than before. Just blocking them is making every muscle fiber in my body scream. But my body isn't the same as it was. Thinking this, Xiaoyun cracked a smug smile. He remembered his recent training. That 2-week strength training regimen. It definitely wasn't a waste. He raised both hands, gripping the staff tightly, and blocked every single one of the iron-blooded orc's strikes. It felt like this body could shatter at any moment, and yet my strength just keeps surging. Xiaoyun then charged forward because he could feel the results of his training in his very own body. The sharp tip of the staff was now coated in a layer of power with sparks of lightning constantly crackling around it. He aimed it straight at the beast. A massive explosion erupted, radiating a blinding light. As expected, the iron-blooded orc was out of strength. It coughed up a mouthful of blood. Seeing this, Xiaoyun grew even more enthusiastic. Now this is actually kind of fun. The attack Xiaoyun unleashed was powerful enough to create an explosion. The iron-blooded orc took the full brunt of it and vomited a torrent of fresh blood. A look of amusement flickered across Xiaoyun's face. He made a comment, now this is actually kind of fun. But then unexpectedly, the iron-blooded orc suddenly grabbed his spear. It pulled with all its might, intending to break it. Xiaoyun's entire body was flung backward by the force as if he were a piece of paper being blown away by the wind. Xiaoyun slammed into a nearby pile of rubble. He thought to himself, so it thinks that without a weapon I can't pierce its hardened blood armor even in a frenzy. It still knows how to use its brain, huh? However, at that moment he saw something. His spear was tossed to the ground by the iron-blooded orc like a piece of trash. It then targeted Seo-yoon and rushed into attack. Suddenly, someone moved from below. Gun-soo attacked the iron-blooded orc's arm to distract it. He shouted to the man still lying on the ground, "Seo-yoon, I'll buy you as much time as I can. Use that chance to grab your weapon." No sooner had he finished speaking, Jun-soo was slammed to the ground by the iron-blooded orc. His body hit the ground so hard that he coughed up blood. "Over here." Seo-yoon had already used the opportunity to close the distance with the iron-blooded orc. "A weapon I've already—" The moment he finished speaking, he directly attacked with the thing in his hand. "Got one." The ambushed iron-blooded orc's eyes shot open in pain. Seo-yoon's body was enveloped in a red light as he climbed onto the iron-blooded orc's head and calculated his next move. While its mind is still in chaos, this is my chance. I'll pour every last bit of strength I have left in my body. Very quickly, the finishing blow was delivered, and now Seo-yoon used all his strength to pull the jaw of the giant monster forward. Its maw swallowed the iron-blooded orc's head whole. Seo-yoon forced the monster's jaw shut with all his might. He declared, "Die." Just like that, the iron-blooded orc's head was bitten off. Its body fell limply to the ground. A notification window immediately appeared in front of Seo-yoon. Item acquired. You have received the Demon's Dagger unique grade. He then looked at the mess he had just made and muttered, "Thanks to you." Wiping the blood from the corner of his lips, Seo-yoon continued, "I can move on to the next phase of my training." Gun-soo's eyes were dazed but still slightly open when he heard a voice call out, "Are you all right?" He glanced over in that direction. He wondered to himself, this voice. Seo-yoon's figure slowly came into focus. "You're not allowed to sleep now, you hear?" Gun-soo couldn't help but exclaim, "It's you." He snapped to his senses, and Seo-yoon felt a sense of relief. "So you're finally awake. You're a tough one to kill." At this, Jun-soo finally managed a smile and replied, "So it was you." Seo-yoon continued his words 100% teasing, "Besides me, who else is going to look after you here? Just lie still." He didn't forget to explain with a short sentence, "It's all over." Time passed to the next day. At the Management Bureau headquarters, reporters had already gathered in droves in front of the building. All attention was focused in one direction as a figure appeared. "He's here." Jun-hwan, looking dapper and elegant, walked in from outside. "It's Director Baek Jun-hwan of the Overcross Guild." A barrage of questions was immediately fired at him. "Sir, please give us a statement regarding this incident. Do you admit to what happened during the illegal transport of the monster?" When he stopped walking, Jun-hwan's deep voice finally rang out. "First of all, I would like to extend my apologies to all the victims." A smile was ever present on his lips. "However, the iron-blooded orc is a monster of very high research value. That is why, despite the apparent risks, we brought it here as a donation to the Management Bureau." But at that moment, everyone's attention was diverted. "Huh?" Jun-hwan delivered his lines smoothly, as if he had memorized a script. "Beyond that, there is not much more I can say at this time, and before the ministry I will cooperate fully with the investigation." From the supervisory board, someone exclaimed in a loud voice, "Look! Is that the savior of Seoul?" Seo-yoon was immediately confused when he saw the crowd looking his way. The questions came one after another. "Savior Seo-yoon, can you give us a few words on this recent incident? We heard you're a D-rank hunter. Can you tell us how you managed to take down that orc?" Lee Han put an arm around Seo-yoon's shoulder and pulled him away to break through the crowd. "Sorry, interviews will have to wait for another time." They had to get to work. But just when you think it's over, another accusatory voice rang out from behind. But wasn't the Management Bureau's response also seriously lacking? Kim Kang, a phone in his hand, unhurriedly questioned them. "The Management Bureau is supposed to supervise and coordinate the major guilds precisely to prevent incidents like this from happening. Doesn't that also mean the Management Bureau has to bear a portion of the responsibility?" Seo-yoon's brow furrowed as the words started to get out of hand. "What the hell?" Seeing this, Lee Han quickly warned him, "Just ignore him." He calmly added, "You can tell just by looking at him he's the type of YouTuber who takes money from the major guilds to create biased videos. Arguing will only make things worse for you." Meanwhile, Kim Kang was still eagerly asking questions. "Please answer the question." But just then, Seo-yoon's lips curled into a smirk. "Hey, they'll really stoop to any dirty trick, won't they?" He shoved Lee Han's hand away while saying, "I'll be right back." Lee Han asked worriedly, "Hey, where are you going?" Seo-yoon walked straight up to Kim Kang with a question. "You're live streaming, right?" The man was momentarily surprised and stammered, Yes, why?" Hearing this, Seo-yoon kindly explained, "Why? Because I want everyone to hear what I'm about to say, right here, right now." Unexpectedly, the next words Seo-yoon uttered were filled with indignation. Getting paid to clean up their shit for them must feel pretty damn good, doesn't it, huh? He even pointed his finger in Junhwan's face and yelled, "Can't you see we're the ones who have to clean up the messes they leave behind wherever they please?" The reporter's jaws dropped in shock while Seo-yoon enjoyed it so much he even asked Junhwan directly, "Isn't that right, Director Baek Junhwan? The dignity of a leader forced the man to smile and remain silent." But then Seo-yoon was suddenly grabbed by the hair and dragged away. Lee Han pulled him inside, offering an apology. "I'm so sorry, he's just talking nonsense. He's really not in his right mind at the moment." Kim Kang looked on helplessly as his juicy story got away, calling out weakly, "Please wait, only then." Did Junhwan ask, "So that's him? The bastard who was so insolent to me before?" Captain O replied respectfully, "Yes, that's him." Junhwan's voice was cold as he continued, "It's just as they say. A puppy doesn't know how fearsome a tiger is." "Captain O." He once again replied, "Yes, sir." Junhwan's face was extremely grim as an order followed. "Crush that bastard." Sometime later in a meeting room, Kim Kang's video was playing on the screen. "This is the YouTube video that was uploaded yesterday." The staff member continued his presentation. Starting with this video, a series of articles about Captain Seo-yoon were released on many different channels. Lee Han sighed deeply, holding his head. "Our rescue officer did misspeak, but even so, I think a punishment is going too far." He began to lay out his argument, passionately defending Seo-yoon. "To be blunt, the major guilds are clearly the ones at fault, and you can tell just by looking that those videos were all misleading. Besides, there are plenty of articles praising him too." However, Ji Hyuk's voice rang out from the opposite side. "Misleading or not, people are still talking about it everywhere." He crossed his arms and retorted fervently, "In that case, a punishment is appropriate." Hyun Ji Hyuk, head of the Supervisory Board of the Management Bureau. Lee Han still tried to argue. "Then Overcross or whoever coordinated them, they're the ones who should be punished." Unexpectedly, his words were intentionally misinterpreted. "Are you saying that we're being careless with our work?" However, Lee Han didn't hesitate to retort, "Am I wrong?" This time, Ji Hyuk was so enraged that he slammed his hand on the table. He stood up, pointing his finger right in Lee Han's face and demanding, "Hey, Lee Han, are you insane?" But another voice cut through the argument. "That's enough. Both of you be quiet." Gwang-soo continued to question, "I heard that Captain Seo-yoon's recent rescue rate is 100%. Is that correct?" Lee Han calmly replied, "Yes, that's correct." The director gazed into the distance and continued, "Then he's all the more a talent we can't afford to lose. Realistically speaking, it's true that we rely on help from the major guilds, but even so, we must still protect the authority of the Management Bureau." This statement made Ji Hyuk ask doubtfully, "So you already have a plan?" Baek Gwang-soo took a sip of water before replying, "They've made quite an interesting move, so perhaps we can't respond in kind perfectly." But his face showed no particular emotion as he continued, "But we should at least give them a fitting response." Baek Gwang-soo, director of the Management Bureau. Sunlight cast long shadows across the ground. A hand reached up to knock on the door, and a voice quickly called from inside, "Come in." Yoon cautiously stepped inside with a serious expression. He looked at the person opposite him and spoke, "You called for me, Director." Only then did Kwang-soo make his request. "Have a seat first." His face hardened as he continued, "We have something important to discuss." A cup of steaming hot tea was placed on the table. Kwang-soo asked unhurriedly, "How is the tea I made?" On the other side, Seo-yoon answered sincerely, "You could open your own shop with this." He looked at the liquid in the cup and continued, "I'm glad to hear that. Something just occurred to me." This was followed by a question for him. "If Team Leader CO were to retake the ranking exam, what rank do you think you'd get?" Over here, Seo-yoon answered honestly, "I don't know for sure, but it certainly wouldn't be my current rank." As if he had anticipated this answer, Kwang-soo agreed in a calm voice, "Of course it wouldn't be. Lately, you've been doing things that a D-rank hunter could never do." He glanced to the side, offering a subtle reminder. "Just so you know, we've had our hands full on our end." "Got it? There's more than one group that wants to make a big deal out of you." Seo-yoon's demeanor gradually grew more guarded. What's that supposed to mean? Was he hinting that I should confess everything I'm hiding since he's covering for me? He quickly calculated in his head. Director Park, a man who had held his position for a long time thanks to his masterful political skills, Lee Han's previous advice came back to him. When dealing with someone like that, just be honest and humble. If you try to act clever and look for an angle to profit from, you'll be the only one who loses in the end. Seo-yoon mulled it over. He had followed his team leader's advice until now, but he couldn't help but wonder. Could he really tell him about the labyrinth? Seeing Seo Yun's deeply contemplative expression, Kwang-soo quickly responded, "Don't worry. I'm not going to ask how you got stronger. At least not right now." He placed his teacup on the table and added, "What's important right now is that the Bureau needs your strength. So to put it bluntly, following that was a declaration. I'm transferring you to a regional office." The sky quickly turned to dusk, the sunset painting a fiery red behind the building. Junhwan's footsteps along with the person beside him echoed. "The investigation is over. You're free to go now. Thanks to the surveillance team, everything wrapped up pretty quickly." He asked casually, "By the way, team leader An Siwoo, what do you think of the hunter Seo Yun?" Siwoo didn't hide anything in his reply. "We're not in the same division, so I don't know him that well." That was followed by his own question. "Why are you so concerned with a pipsqueak of a rescue worker like him?" At the mention of this, the anger inside Junhwan flared up once more. "Why else?" Though a smile was on his face, his words were filled with irritation. "There's nothing more annoying than a bug, scurrying around right in front of your eyes." The two of them continued walking. Siwoo asked, "So that's why you kicked him out to that remote area?" Junhwan warned coldly, "Watch your mouth, team leader An. I'm just hoping he takes a good long look at himself, that's all." Unexpectedly, a sarcastic voice came from behind them. "You two seem pretty close." Both Junhwan and Siwoo turned around at the same time. A sound of surprise was uttered when they saw the figure. Seo Yun. Team leader Seo Yun. He watched him approach and then inquired, "It must be fate that we keep running into each other like this. I heard the news while I was conducting this investigation." Junhwan's voice was full of sarcasm. "You're about to be transferred to the provinces." Siwoo quickly tried to intervene director, however Seo Yun shot back with a sharp tongue. "That's hilarious. You're pretty well informed for an outsider, especially since the transfer notice hasn't even been posted yet. Have you been going around collecting intel on me?" He smiled and added, "But it's fine, I'm only being transferred for 6 months. Unexpectedly, as soon as he finished speaking, Junhwan scoffed. "6 months, team leader Seo, you really are an optimist." He continued mockingly. "From what I know about the Bureau, only those at the division chief level or higher can be transferred. You don't actually think this is just a regular transfer?" Do you?" He then looked down at Seo Yun and added, "Get a clue." Seo Yun looked up. "Even team leader An didn't know about this. We were originally planning to make a wider announcement later." A proud smile was now spreading across his face. "As of today, I have been promoted from level 8 to level 6, promoted 2 ranks at once to deputy chief." Junhwan was visibly stunned. The CEO even exclaimed, "2 ranks at once." Seizing the moment, Yun grew bolder. "Judging by your expression, you don't seem too happy about my promotion, do you?" He tried to maintain his composure. "Of course I'm happy for you." But his smile was incredibly forced. "I was just wondering, does the Management Bureau promote based on feelings now?" On the other side, Seo Yun was kind enough to explain, "It means they don't want to lose someone valuable, even if it means ticking you off." The pressure emanating from the two of them was immense. Seeing the situation growing tense, the CEO was forced to intervene. "What are you two doing? Director Baek Junhwan, it's time for you to leave." Junhwan regained his composure and replied, "I was a bit distracted." The two of them then continued on their way. "Excuse me, I'll be on my way." However, just then, Seo Yun suddenly called out, "Want a piece of advice?" He calmly explained, "Trying to defeat me by getting me transferred was the wrong move." Then Seo Yun declared seriously, "It doesn't matter where you push me. In the end, my rescue work will not change." When only they were left, Junhwan and the CEO remained silent, seeing that contemplative look on Junhwan's face. The CEO couldn't help but ask, "Director," but just then, Junhwan suddenly slammed his fist into the wall. The blow was so powerful it cracked the plaster. Gritting his teeth, Junhwan hissed, "You damn insects!" Inside a room, a nameplate on the desk read, Bureau Chief Park Guangsu. Guangsu was standing by the window recalling his earlier conversation with Seo Yun. "Don't you worry. On the surface it will look like a demotion, but in reality it's just a 6-month transfer." Guangsu's voice was even as he explained, "Of course, once you get there you'll have to build up your own record of achievements. That way outsiders won't be able to touch you so easily." However, Seo Yun didn't respond right away. Noticing his expression, Guangsu asked, "You look like you have something else on your mind." Only then did Seo Yun look over. "My apologies," he said calmly. "Thank you, Bureau Chief, for personally taking care of this for me, but there is one thing I would like to request." He replied casually, "Go on." Seo Yun stated his request directly without any hesitation. "If I have to be transferred anyway, See, then I hope you can send me to a place that truly needs my help. Guangsu was pleased, thinking to himself. To be able to say something like that even now. He continued to gaze into the distance. Truly an extraordinary person. The hallway was lit, but there wasn't a soul in sight. Hanbin exclaimed as if not believing his own eyes. No way. Is this for real? Senior Seoyun became a deputy chief in a single day, and on top of that, he's being transferred out to a regional branch. He then turned to ask, did you already know about this? Li Han, feeling a bit offended, retorted irritably, Hey, I'm the chief, of course I knew. Hanbin hurriedly got up from his seat. Without Seoyun, how are we supposed to conduct rescue operations? He replied lazily, the same way we always do. Just do your job. Then he didn't forget to add, more importantly, before that kid leaves, he's got a week of leave. Hearing this, Hanbin immediately pulled out his phone and mumbled, I should call and ask if he's coming to the team dinner tonight. Seoyun's voice came through from the other end. Emergency stairwell. Hanbin muttered. He picked up. Senior, what are you doing? He explained softly, I'm dealing with some leftover homework. Hearing this, Hanbin couldn't help but feel confused. Homework. The truth was, at that moment, Seoyun was standing before a swarm of monsters. A smile played on his lips. Cleaning out a hornet's nest. A system notification appeared just below Purge mission. Defeat the Hornet Queen. The individual at the apex of the hornet's trap within 30 days. Reward for success. Poison Stinger, 100. Gold Queen's Royal Jelly Dagger. Penalty for failure. Proficiency when dealing with insect-type monsters will decrease by 50%. Seoyun didn't waste another second and declared, I'll call you back. Hanbin on the other end of the line quickly tried to stop him. Wait, Senior. But he had already put his phone in his pocket, silently calculating 3 days left until the mission deadline. I thought I'd arrived pretty early, but looking at this swarm of hornets... A thought followed. They really do multiply fast. He got into position ready to act, but as long as I can still move, it's not a problem. As Seoyun charged toward the swarm of hornets, his eyes gleamed with determination as he thought, take down the queen, and this will be over. The hornets fired a barrage of stingers, but Seoyun easily deflected them all. He glanced behind him, thinking, that sound is... Just then, the hornets simultaneously fired another volley of stingers. A hornet volley. As Seoyun deflected their trajectory, he calculated, it's firing stingers like bullets, but it's common knowledge that the queen avoids creating these, because it consumes a great deal of energy. Did it prepare them in advance? He knew that no matter what, if he hesitated, he would be surrounded. Seoyun decided to counterattack with a more powerful strike. Before that could happen, a portal opened up targeting the hornet swarm. Seoyun took advantage of the chaos created by the portal and charged forward. With this many of them, I can still handle them with just the maze traps. The wasps are slowing down noticeably, and thanks to the suction sphere, I was still calculating silently. The wasps around here are all losing their balance, so I have to use this chance to get close to the hive. The wasps are heavily affected, but they can still charge forward. 3 wasps targeted Yoon, attacking from 3 sides. He glanced away, thinking to himself, their flight path just changed. They're hugging the ground to avoid being pulled in by the suction sphere. From the wasp pit to this, now I get it. Seoyun's attention settled on the monster queen. The queen growled, watching him cautiously from afar. It had been wary of me from the very beginning. A smirk played on Yoon's lips. He thought to himself, how honorable, to go to such lengths just to get rid of me. He vaguely recalled, but I already came up with a plan for this. Oh, back then, Yoon had already calculated for this very moment. I can't resurrect monsters in the maze, he thought, observing the notification panel in front of him. Maze status: current allied units 11 out of 35. 4 ghouls, 7 red goblins. I can't resurrect monsters because the boss is already dead. Yoon summoned a small portal beside him and concluded, this is the only way I can use it for now. A notification appeared, entering maze. The wasps attacked frantically. They were even aiming for that portal, bringing in only the bare minimum of monsters. Yoon continued his move. He stepped out of the maze, his feet hitting the ground, and then charged forward with all his might. His eyes were focused, a smirk on his lips. Maximizing the use of the suction sphere, Seoyun unleashed a slash to clear the way, followed by a perfect 10-point landing. But Yoon spoke calmly, no need to hide anymore, come on out. The target he was aiming for was the queen wasp on the other side. Yoon continued in a low voice, Queenscaper. Just as he finished speaking, he stopped sensing something. Yoon looked around and quickly guessed, Its pheromones just spiked. Is it planning to summon every single wasp it can call? And then Yoon started to move. As he did, a notification popped up, Sixth Sense activated. Yoon backed away smirking as he came to a conclusion. No, the thing it's calling is this, the Queen's ultimate weapon. The shadow of another monster appeared. The Wing Whip. The Wing Whip chased after Yoon to attack while he just smirked, calculating. It's even producing twice the normal amount of pheromones, he thought with satisfaction as he ran ahead. But if it's already gone as far as to summon this thing, a declaration followed. Then I just need to deal with you, and taking the Queen's life will be much easier. The Wing Whip growled fiercely, but its movements were restricted by the portal. Yoon cautiously moved forward, affirming, Then I just need to deal with you, and taking the Queen's life will be much easier. But to his surprise, the Wing Whip roared as it continued to chase him. This damn thing. The two clashed violently, their attacks creating an explosion. Yoon struggled to parry the Wing Whip's attack, this time a feeling of annoyance welling up inside him. This damn thing. Then Yoon looked towards the Wing Whip again. Did it just cut off its own arm to escape the suction sphere? He then wondered, still just how powerful are those wings? Just then the Queen also launched a sudden attack. Unsurprised and unafraid, Yoon simply muttered, You two are really making things a pain. But no matter how much you struggle, a firm declaration was made, it won't change a thing. The space changed once again, and both the Wing Whip and the Queen were pulled inside by Yoon. He rubbed the back of his neck, muttering, This wasn't part of the original plan, but it's not so bad. Now inside my domain, it's just the two of you left. Then he didn't forget to warn the two before him. I'll tell you this now, it's best if you don't move recklessly in here. He chuckled, adding with a hint of pride, When I rebuilt the maze, however, Yoon reminded himself, Right, I'm the weird one here muttering to myself in front of monsters. He reached out and touched the screen in front of him. Immediately after, a notification appeared, Steel Arrow Rain Trap activated. The Wing Whip acted easily, blocking the attack. Seeing its move, Yoon couldn't help but be impressed. As expected of the Wing Whip, with just one flap of its wings, it shielded both the Queen and the Hive. But he then looked at the arrows aiming for the Wing Whip from another direction. He thought, the arrows aren't just coming from one direction. The Wing Whip's body was instantly riddled with holes. Seeing it collapse, Yoon spoke calmly. I told you, no matter how much you struggle, it's useless. He looked at the battlefield before him and muttered, I've set up intricate traps all over this area, just to deal with you. Looking at the Queen's furious expression, Seo Yoon said in a provocative tone, Now then, I've taken care of your ultimate weapon. A smirk formed on his lips, followed by a final challenge. It's just the two of us now, isn't it?